President Paul Biya is expected to be sworn in on Thursday.
Well, the Women's Africa Cup of Nations will now feature 16 teams instead of 12 when the tournament kicks off in Morocco next March. The Confederation of African Football says the expansion reflects growing participation and competitiveness in the women's game across the continent. The 4 extra slots have been given to Cameroon, Egypt, Ivory Coast, and Mali, the best ranked losing teams from the last qualifying round. They join defending champions Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, and others who already booked their tickets. Morocco will host both the women's tournament, which doubles as Africa's qualifying route to the 2027 Women's World Cup, and the men's AFCON later in December.
Elsewhere, the International Monetary Fund has extended its mission to Senegal by several days as negotiations over a new financing program continue in Dakar. IMF spokesperson says the visit has been productive so far, with discussions ongoing around policy measures and structural reforms that could anchor a fresh program request. A previous $1.8 billion arrangement was frozen last year after Senegal's new government revealed billions of dollars in hidden debt. That burden has now ballooned to over $11 billion, with the fund estimating Senegal's consolidated debt-to-GDP ratio at 132% by the end of 2024. Investors remain divided over whether IMF will demand a debt restructuring or reprofiling. A concluding statement will be issued at the end of the mission.
Now, Tanzanian police are warning citizens not to share graphic images online after internet access was restored following days of deadly post-election unrest. Opposition party Chadema claims hundreds were killed in protests sparked by the exclusion of leading challengers from last Wednesday's election. President Samia Suluhu Hassan, sworn in on Monday after weighing more than 98%, has acknowledged loss of life, but her government insists the opposition death toll is exaggerated. Police sent text messages late on Monday night telling mobile users that sharing images that cause panic or degrade a person's dignity is a criminal offense. Meanwhile, curfews have been lifted and normal activity is slowly returning in Dar es Salaam amid ongoing calls for accountability.
Now, Egypt says revenues from the Suez Canal rose more than 40% year-on-year between July and October as regional shipping begins to recover from months of Red Sea insecurity. Canal authorities say 229 ships transited in October alone. That's the highest since regional tensions escalated in 2023 with Houthi attacks on commercial vessels in solidarity with Palestinians during the Gaza war. The Suez Canal Authority credits a recent ceasefire and a more stable maritime environment for the improvement, encouraging many shipping companies to resume using the vital waterway. Chairman Osama Rabiei says major carriers, including France's CMA CGM, have already restarted crosses, while others are considering expanding traffic as conditions continue to stabilize.
Now, according to Tunisia's government, it has repatriated around 10,000 irregular migrants so far this year, most of them from sub-Saharan Africa, under a voluntary return scheme supported by the International Organization for Migration. Foreign Minister Mohamed Ali Nafti told lawmakers that flights are now operating weekly and insisted Tunisia will not become a transit zone for those attempting to reach Europe. Last year, Tunis repatriated over 7,000 people under the same program, but thousands still remain stranded in forest and makeshift camps near coastal towns after authorities blocked crossings and dismantled informal settlements. As security is tightened along Tunisia's coastline, the number of migrants successfully reaching Europe has fallen sharply in 2025.
Now, you're watching Newsday on the Rise News channel. We'll be right back after this break. Stay with us.
Managing your finances can be simple with the right partner. That's why we are leveraging customer-friendly tech to offer borderless AI solutions designed specifically for you, so that wherever you're banking from, home or abroad, you can be sure of the dependable financial support with First Diaspora. Open a First Diaspora account online today. Let's take giant strides into the future together. You first. First Bank.
The only way to win this fight is for one of you to bring home a husband. Who do you think? Dear folks, just like you. So you who will take over Sovereignty and Unity of India and when are you joining to live with?
Do you think that the path to greatness does not require great sacrifices? The price has been.
Tonight's out, Steppers Showdown.
They're competing for the Niger Steppers Showdown.
Gbogbo tí Abọ́bakú bá fẹ́ ní gbogbo olùgbọ́dọ̀ bá fẹ́.
Abọ́bakú gba ilẹ̀ bàbá rẹ̀.
Èmi ẹkùnrin kàpẹ́rẹ́ ní kàdáńdé náà tàbí bẹ̀rẹ̀ nígbà ẹ̀mí jẹ̀ ní ẹlẹ́sẹ̀ kejì òrìṣà.
Mgbe nsogbu adịrọ, ọ ga-erugo mgbe m na-agwa ndị a na m abụrụ egwu achọtara n'aka ụlọ akwa.
Sabon tauraron Arewa ya dawo mafi girma mafi ƙarfi kuma mafi ɗaukar hankali. Rabin makawan ATM ne for Travis Slow. Zan wuce kushewa zango na biyu.
Waƙa ce, sha'awa ce, tafiya ta ci gaba.
Guy, with the rising cost of things, we need to plan our next move. Guy, I agree with you. I mean, with the money we make, we should not be struggling with our finances now.
Maybe you both need better banking options.
What do you know about better banking options?
I recently moved my salary account to Polaris Bank, and since then, it's been a smooth ride for me. They bought over my existing loan and gave me better interest rates and repayment terms.
Are you serious?
Yes, as a Polaris salary account holder, I can get personal term loan, auto loan, mortgage, 50% salary advance, credit card, and more without going to the bank.
Really?
I've got a personal term loan already. See, here's my credit card too.
How do I make the move?
Simple. Open a Polaris salary account on Vault. Use salary account as your referral code.
My guy, I am moving my salary account now.
Get personal term loan and more with your Polaris salary account. Vault is available on Google Play Store and Apple App Store.
In the beating heart of Owerri, business never sleeps. From sunrise to sundown, the wheels keep turning. And behind the scenes, vision meets action. Governor Hope Uzodima's leadership has turned manifestos into reality. Transformations that feels like a miracle. But progress needs peace, and in Imo, it's not left to chance. From land to sky to river deep, guardians are watching, protecting dreams and opportunity. At Orashi's quiet shore, hydropower is rising, set to energize a growing economy. The change is visible. New roads emerge, industry hums, communities come alive. At the center, a digital revolution. 500,000 young minds trained each year to build the future. As Orashi rises, so does Imo and the hopes of a hard-working people. A new Imo is on the rise.
Naira, shillings, China, yen, interest rates are up again. Commodities, bonds and shares. Seize the move and mingle with the beers, derivatives, and currencies. Cut the understanding, please. Finance gurus, the thieves at the trade portfolio is getting big. Come on, trade. Let your money move with the wisdom. Trade. Let the markets take you there. Stay up to date with business and markets every weekday on the Rice Exchange.
Welcome back to Newsday. Thank you for staying with us. A high court in Oyo State, presided over by Justice Ladino Akitola, on Tuesday granted an order to the People's Democratic Party to proceed with its national convention slated for November 15th and 16th in Ibadan, the state capital. The judge also fixed Monday for hearing of the motion on notice. This latest development appears to have deepened the controversy around the opposition party's planned national convention. We're now being joined for a quick chat on this matter by Ikechukwu Osoha, who is PDP's Deputy National Legal Advisor. Good to have you on Newsday. Good afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Let me just correct that impression. My name is Okechukwu Osoha, not Ikechukwu Osoha. Thank you so much.
Apologies, there must have been a typo there, but that will be corrected immediately. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Okechukwu Osoha. Thank you. Now let's begin.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
For having me.
Of course. We've seen numerous cases or occurrences or instances where the National Convention has been postponed or disrupted in recent years. Are you concerned that in spite of this go-ahead that's been received for the 15th and 16th, that something might still disrupt the planned convention?
Thank you so much. Let me explain and enlighten the public and everybody. This matter came up when we had the planned convention. So when we were planning for the convention in Ibadan, there was some disagreements and issues. So some members of the party, went and approached the court, the Federal High Court. And in Nigeria, we're in a democratic society. The Constitution and the law is so clear that if you agree, in Nigeria, that the citizen that is aggrieved, you approach the court to seek redress, so that for interpretation of whatever law or whatever you think has gone wrong. And these plaintiffs, they approached the Federal High Court, Abuja, and the matter was pending there. Then finally last week, the judgment was delivered and upon the matter. And in that judgment, it was unambiguous and clear. The court actually stated that what was the matter or the subject matter was not all about internal affairs of the party. It was all about violation of the law, extant laws of the land. That the rule of law must prevail, that things were not done properly by the party. And that's why we had that issue, that the party should go back to the drawing board and put everything in order so that the convention can still hold. And then that convention was put on hold, that the party should go and do things properly in accordance with the law. And the court was so emphatic, even went further to direct, and there was an injunction, a barring INEC from either observing anything that the party does or whatever the party will do, that the INEC should not even participate until things are done properly well in accordance with the law. And after that judgment, I expected the former national chairman, Ambassador Damagu, and the NWC to call a meeting of stakeholders and leaders of the party, so that put a way forward for the negotiation and reconciliation. Maybe there be reconciliation in the party. But I didn't see that. What I now heard was in the news, I heard that there was another matter that came up in Oyo State High Court. And then there was an order that now asked the party that they must proceed on for the convention. But for me, in our legal jurisprudence, I'm a lawyer and the Deputy National Legal Advisor of our party. So from my legal practice, I know that both the Federal High Court and then the State High Court are courts of coordinate jurisdiction in law. And whenever a court of competent jurisdiction like the Federal High Court has given a judgment in a matter, so whoever that feels dissatisfied with that judgment, the process and the procedure or the next step should be to approach to appeal the matter in an appellate court, and not to go to a court of coordinate jurisdiction and begin to say, what do you expect? You know, there was an order given to an agency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that's INEC, that has the constitutional responsibility to guide and regulate political parties and conduct elections in Nigeria. And the Federal High Court has given them an order that they should not observe or proceed with any convention. And another court of concurrent jurisdiction, coordinate jurisdiction, will go and give another order. And even the order I saw was an ex parte order. It was not even a judgment, because that court judgment in the Federal High Court was a competent judgment that a court gave. So what I expected our party or whoever that was not satisfied with that judgment is to approach the appellate court. That's why constitutionally we have hierarchy of courts. That if a court of first instance gives a judgment and you are not satisfied, you go to an appellate court, and not to go to another court of coordinate jurisdiction and begin to give an order. It makes, it's amazing, and then it ridicules our system and our legal system. That's why I call it a judicial rascality. That's what I can tell you.
Amazing indeed. I'd like to take it back to those stakeholders you mentioned. For those who were against the convention going forward initially, if not appeased or they're not being, settled, as it were, wouldn't that deepen the rift within PDP and also ultimately affect its chances at the general elections?
Thank you so much. That brings us to the fact that in this country, we've been practicing democracy, and democracy must thrive by the rule of law and not infinities. People should not, do things in their whims and caprices. They should go by the laws. We have the ground norm of our laws in Nigeria. That's the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. And then we have the Electoral Act that regulates elections in Nigeria. And we have the Constitution of the party, Section 2 of the PDP Constitution, provided that every member and organs of this party will be bounded by this Constitution. So even in our party, what actually, you say those people the plaintiffs, those who were aggrieved, they approached the court. And the court has given a judgment. And I believe what we need now is reconciliation. What we need now is negotiation. All the parties, all the aggrieved parties should come together and negotiate, and so that we can see hold a competent convention. Because what if you don't do things in accordance with the law? The consequence, there's legal consequences. If you rush and go and do a convention and you didn't do things properly in accordance with the law, people will still go and challenge it. If you give people tickets to go and contest the elections, there's legal consequences, because after what they have done, people will approach the court and they will challenge it, and maybe whatever you have done will be nullified. It's not proper, it's not good. So we must do things in accordance with the law and do things properly. That's what I'll tell you.
Mr. Okechukwu Osoha, UDP National Legal Advisor, we'd like to thank you for your insight and wish you well regarding your convention. Thank you for joining us. Stay here on the Rise News. Stay with us.
To ask yourself is that where is everybody's money going?
It's important for you to find people that connect with you where you are now, but also complement your weaknesses.
Make sure that what you have can test anybody, anywhere. What inspired me to start my business? Hunger.
Banking prepared me for that. Showing up, waking up early, being dedicated.
The power is in us as people. We are the new oil.
The new media, don't be afraid of
What
it.
makes you stand out is differentiation. This is going to be my footprint. I'm not going to be in any box.
federal government has directed all public universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education to publish their financial statements and academic performance reports annually, beginning in the first quarter of each year. Minister of Education Dr. Tunji Alausa announced this on Tuesday in Abuja during the official launch of the Federal Tertiary Institution Governance, a Transparency Platform, a landmark initiative designed to promote transparency, accountability, and data-driven governance across the nation's tertiary education sector. Rice News analyst Dayo Shibo Ali joins us now to discuss how this directive can enhance transparency and curb corruption in tertiary institutions. Mr. Shibo Ali, it's good to have you with us. Very good. So, what are your thoughts on this transparency within the education sector, especially on public expenditure?
Right. It seems we are bringing corporate governance to the tertiary institutions. But I'm surprised because I thought they have always been there. Because I think the people in driving the tower are usually the authors of ideas like that. But then, you see, in with the industrial crisis, industrial in the universities, and he said they want to make sure that ASU does not go on strike. That is what concerns me and interests me. How you can marry that to using data access to enhance efficiency, accountability, and transparency. I don't care how it goes about it. But he said you make sure ASU does not go astray. If they are going to make sure ASU does not go astray, it is not by making technology drive management and financial accountability that will stop that. It is listening to the crisis that made those ASU people go astray, which mainly has to do with infrastructure availability of research materials and educational facilities. If this will enhance that, I buy into it. But the idea is to make sure that the university can develop almost independently if they all have access, mutual access to what is available here, when, and how, and link that up with business and government to enhance university education and bring in economic development. It is okay, it's a laudable project, but then universities have to be open for the project to see its way through. Networking is always good, but if you network, how do I put inefficiency, you are just computerizing, you are not softening the speed of service delivery or the quality of service delivery. Yes, as a project, you are in the digital age. Don't let us sweep under the carpet the industrialization issues that have made students and lecturers have sent from the tertiary institutions. That one should be addressed. And if it is possible to nip it in the bud with this, they are welcome. Otherwise, it is one level project.
Also, Mr. Shibali, it's great that you applaud this, but some don't share that. Like, well, for instance, we're hearing that some vice chancellors are already complaining that this violates university autonomy. Do you think that this is transparency really an attack on autonomy, or is this just resistance to accountability?
Yes, no, resistance to change by the vice chancellor. They will call it unnecessary interference, but it is they say who pays the piper between the two. In Nigeria, the universities mostly, until the advent of these wealthy universities, the state and federal government that are funding universities. So if they pool resources together for more efficiency and transparency, the council of vice chancellors, but what I heard was different. Their chairman was commending this effort. Although that could be some people resist change. Of course. Resist change because it costs them out, because it reveals what they want to hide. And you see, if you look at data accessibility and transparency, you see, in the universities, you have some of the worst dictators in the departments of the universities. You have professors, they are lord of the manor. You are writing your thesis, down to their tune and things. You look at structure, other strategic management. They have a flat structure. You have some sort of organic ground, you have various levels. It's the one of the app.
and everybody count out. So such people will not like the transparency that reduce funding, management side, and so many other things. So they can protest, but when change comes, it doesn't seek anybody's permission. That's why they say change management is oxymoron. The change comes, and if it comes, if you don't follow, you sweep away. That's the essence of innovation and transformation.
Yeah, if you want to be more specific, I would have even be more. This would have been more useful when it comes to the issue of grants. We're giving these grants, but we're not seeing that much development research. The output for research, and like you said, sometimes some of this academia are alone to themselves and probably not, being as transparent as they should. So to learn,
there's no synergy.
There's no synergy in that respect.
Selfish reasons. You see, if you have good knowledge about something, you want to use your patient and your copyright to get as much as possible out of it before it can be universally distributed. But if you have the sort of network, the NGR research, Nigeria, something that they are put on the ground, even they are since 2012, you have access to data, to research, to educational materials, to even, you mentioned autonomy the other time. If you have the connectivity, you have a research project, if you have a broad spectrum of industries and so on, you can know where you can tap into and fund even your university without seeking financial assistance from government, although that will come anyway. But you can make for better financial autonomy. But when they talk of autonomy in the universities, you know what it is. They want exclusive, not inclusive authority, exclusive authority devoid of federal intervention or any other supervisory.
Even for a public school, even for a public school, sir.
Yes.
In that regard.
Yes. Our universities are public institutions, since they belong to the state. But in the private university, you can't do that. You place the proper behind. But here, if government is trying to monitor performance, monitor transparency, monitor financial accountability through networking, it's a welcome development to make for efficiency and lessen corruption.
Absolutely. Mr. Shobole, it's still towing that line or in that same breath. We know that ASU frequently goes on strike based on the funding situation. Yeah. Do you anticipate that these disclosures might show whether universities actually lack the funds, or do you think that we might see scenarios where existing funds are mismanaged?
Well, you see, you are optimistic and skeptical.
Yeah.
You can't be both. You see, like I said earlier, if this networking and transparency improves efficiency and is able to meet the demands that make these last few people go on strike so frequently, if it minimizes it, if they see the assets available to those who employ them, and they see how far it can go, maybe that will lessen their demands or channel it to other sources they have not known before, which they will know from the connectivity. So it will make data, information, knowledge available, and hopefully it will smoothen the industrial relation terrain and make students stay more in school than the other two, and lecturers and their pay by teaching the students.
You remember that when we started this discussion, you mentioned the issue of timing itself. That ordinarily this should have been a norm within the university education sector. Yes. So it's like, why, with all the strikes that we've been having every now and then, probably the government just thought about it. Okay, fine, if I'm giving you all of this, what about accountability on your part?
Yes.
To a large extent.
Yes, you are correct. You see, the government and the university system have always been at each other's throat. I remember when the military high school during the military. When they go on strike like this, it was one of the lecturers who went to the soldier. Hey, look, they don't have connection with the outside world. Tell them to leave the quarter, see they don't. that broke the back of the strike.
Yeah.
So you never know. Maybe the thing, if they know all the resources available to government and to the Senate and to the governing council of the university, they will limit their demands or maybe expand it. But the transparency will be there for all to see what is available and what you can ask for. Because you can't ask for what is not available anyway. So that will decide the politics of it. Who gets what, when, and how. Yes.
Thank you so much for your wonderful analysis, Mr. Dashubali. I appreciate your time as always here on Newsday. Thank you. Still ahead on Newsday, U.S. Democrats have pulled off a stunning triple win, their first major victory since Donald Trump returned to the White House. Details shortly. Stay with us.
Thinking of banking in Africa? Think South. In today's fast-moving, fast-changing world, you need a financial partner that understands your unique expectations. A bank with presence in major financial centers across the world, with the enabling platform to facilitate seamlessly, whenever, wherever, or however. A bank with best-in-class financial solutions from a superb combination of technology and human touch. For easy, fast, and secure banking that creates real value. Turning dreams into reality is now in your hands. People, technology, service. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
This is Able to Vote Guide, and you are welcome. Able to Vote Guide is a voter education series to increase the participation of registered voters with disability and the society at large. My name is Jake Epele. I am the CEO and founder TAP Africa. Let's get started. On this episode of the Able to Vote Guide, we will focus on how security agencies can support the participation of persons with disability during the election and post-election phases of the electoral cycle. Election day violence is sometimes inevitable in some polling centers. The common reasons are the locality and the presence of dominant political parties and actors. Where data already exists, security agents in polling units should be informed of the number of persons with disability present in the polling unit. Persons with disability should identify themselves to the presiding officer at the polling unit immediately after arriving at the polling unit. Clearly marked muster and exit points should be identified for persons with disability. Should there be any security emergencies at the polling unit, the post-election period usually involves the rejection of results by losing candidates and parties. Such grievances are displayed in roadblocks and street protests. Where security agents are informed of such, persons with disability who may be affected should also be identified and protected throughout the exercise. This message is coming to you from TAP Africa with funding from European Union and our media partners. For more information on the activities of TAP Africa, follow us on our social media handles. Visit our website on tapafrica.co. See you on the next episode of Able to Vote Guide. I remain yours truly, Jake Epele.
Hello again, this is Arise, the World Standard News Channel. I'm Lee Guizhou.
I'm Cynthia Arrow. Welcome to Newsday. For the next 3 hours, we bring you all day stories live from Nigeria's commercial capital, Lagos, including the first major electoral test for Republican Donald Trump since the return to the presidency. The Democratic Party sweeps 2 governorship races and the crucial mayoral seat of New York City.
Elsewhere, EU climate ministers strike a tentative agreement on a 2040 climate change target after watering down the goal in last-minute negotiations as they race to clinch the deal for the UN COP30 summit in Brazil.
And with effect from next year, Morocco declares October 31 as a national holiday marking the adoption of UN Security Council resolution backing the North African country's autonomy plan for Western Sahara. Details in
where Democrats swept a trio of races on Tuesday, the first major election since Donald Trump regained the presidency, elevating a new generation of leaders and giving the political party a shot of momentum ahead of next year's congressional elections. In New York City, Zohran Mamdani, a 34-year-old Democratic socialist, won the mayoral race, cabinet meteoric and unlikely rise from an anonymous state lawmaker to one of the country's most visible Democratic figures. And in Virginia and New Jersey, moderate Democrats Abigail Spanberger, 46, and Nikki Sherrill, 53, won the elections for governor with commander leads, respectively. Races also served as a test of different Democratic campaign playbooks ahead of 2026, the party locked out of power. Washington still trying to forge a path out of political crisis.
Meanwhile, New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani posted a time for Trump for the kicking off the battle that will likely define relations between the old mayor and the president, whose celebrity is tied to the city.
Sun may have set over our city this evening, but as Eugene Debs once said, I can see the dawn of a better day for humanity. For as long as we can remember, the working people of New York have been told by the wealthy and the well-connected that power does not belong in their hands. Fingers bruised from lifting boxes on the warehouse floor, palms calloused from delivery bike handlebars, knuckles scarred with kitchen burns. These are not hands that have been allowed to hold power. And yet, over the last 12 months, you have dared to reach for something greater. Tonight, against all odds, we have grasped it. The future is in our hands. My friends, we have toppled a political dynasty. I wish Andrew Cuomo only the best in private life. But let tonight be the final time I utter his name. As we turn the page on a politics that abandons the many and answers only to the few. New York, tonight you have delivered a mandate for
A UPS wide-body cargo plane crashed on Tuesday and erupted into a fireball moments after takeoff from the international airport in Louisville, Kentucky, killing 7, including all 3 aboard, and injuring 11 on ground. Flames from the crash shortly before sundown ignited a string of fires in an industrial corridor adjacent to the airport, forcing authorities to halt flight operations through the night. In a Tuesday night service alert, UPS said delivery schedules for airborne and international packages may be affected by the disruption. The Louisville mayor told reporters at a late-night news briefing that close to 10 deaths were confirmed on the ground, with 11 injured people taken to hospitals.
Other news, EU climate ministers struck a tentative deal on a 2040 climate change target in the early hours of Wednesday after watering down the goal in last-minute negotiations. A draft EU document showed as they raced to clinch the deal before the UN COP30 summit in Brazil. After more than 18 hours of negotiations, climate ministers from EU countries gave their informal backing to a compromise to cut emissions 90% by 2040 from 1990 levels, but with flexibility to weaken this aim. A handful of countries, including Poland and Czech Republic and Hungary, and indicated they would oppose the plan, but not enough to block the agreement, which needs backing from at least 50 member states. Now, the weakened target will let countries buy foreign carbon credits to cover up to 5% of the 90% emissions cutting goal, according to a draft of the EU deal.
Now, Pompeo has called for deep reflection about the way migrants are being treated in the U.S. under Trump's administration, and said the spiritual needs of those in detention need to be respected. Speaking to reporters in Castel Gandolfo, his residence outside Rome, the Pope was asked about immigrants detained at a federal facility in Broadview near Chicago, who've been refused the opportunity to receive Holy Communion, an important religious obligation. Leo, the first U.S. Pope, has previously decried the federal government's treatment of immigrants caught up in a hardline crackdown that's roiled cities across the country. In reference to the Broadview inmates, he said on Tuesday that the spiritual rights of detainees need to be considered.
In the best possible. China will suspend for 1 year the 24% additional tariffs it imposed on U.S. goods in April, while maintaining the 10% levies also introduced in response to U.S. President Trump's Liberation Day duties. Its cabinet confirmed on Wednesday. State Council's Tariff Commission also announced it would remove the duties of up to 15% it imposed on certain U.S. agricultural goods from November 10th, referring to a release from March detailing the products the world's top agricultural buyer will begin taxing on import. But the cut still leaves Chinese buyers of soybeans facing tariffs of 13%, including a pre-existing 3% base tariff. Traders say that makes U.S. shipments still too expensive for commercial buyers compared to Brazilian alternatives. Before Trump took office in 2017 and the first U.S.-China trade war began, soybeans were by far the top U.S. export to China, with the world's biggest agricultural buyer purchasing $13.8 billion worth of the staple in 2016.
Now, according to Taiwan's foreign minister, China has added a lot of conditions to its attendance at next year's APEC summit in the Chinese city of Shenzhen and gone back on a commitment to allow equal participation. The Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation is one of the only international bodies Chinese claimed Taiwan is a member of, and next November's summit will come as relations between Taipei and Beijing have plummeted amid a stepped-up Chinese military pressure campaign against the island. Taiwan says it's been promised by China last year the right to equal participation and that the safety of its people attending would be guaranteed. China's foreign ministry said this week that Taiwan's participation in APEC activities must comply with the One China principle, which Beijing views as meaning both sides of the Taiwan Strait belong to one country.
Now, as the death toll from Typhoon Kalmagi in the Philippines climbed to 66, residents in the hardest hit province of Cebu are confronting the devastation that it left behind. In Talisay City, survivors sift through the destruction, hoping to salvage what little remains. Among them was Elaine Oken, 38, who walked through what used to be her neighborhood, only to find her home completely destroyed. Scenes of devastation emerged in Cebu, a major tourist hub. Floodwaters receded, revealing destroyed homes, overturned vehicles, and widespread debris.
Russian and Ukrainian troops fought battles in the ruins of Ogrovsk, a transport and logistics hub in eastern Ukraine that Moscow has been trying to capture for over a year. Ukraine's military said fierce fighting was underway in a part of the city that was key for Kyiv's frontline logistics. It also confirmed additional special forces had arrived there and more weapons and equipment were being sent. The Ukrainian president said he spent the day visiting troops near Pokrovsk and in nearby areas, including Dobropilya, where Ukrainian forces are conducting a counteroffensive against Russian troops.
Japan's military deployed troops to the country's mountainous north to help trap bears after an urgent request from local authorities struggling to cope with a wave of attacks. Operation began in the town of Kazuno, where residents for weeks have been told to avoid the thick forest that surround it, stay home after dark, and carry bells to deter bears that forage near their homes for food. There have been more than 100 bear attacks, with a record 12 people killed across Japan in the year since April, according to the Environment Ministry. 2/3 of those deaths were in Akita Prefecture, where Kazuno is located nearby Iwate. Authorities in Akita say bear sightings have jumped sixfold this year. More than 8,000 prompted the prefecture's governor to request help from Japan's self-defense forces last week.
The Trump administration is considering a Saudi Arabian request to buy as many as 48 F-35 fighter jets, a potential multi-billion-dollar deal that's cleared a key Pentagon hurdle ahead of a visit by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. A sale would mark a significant policy shift, potentially altering the military balance in the Middle East and testing Washington's definition of maintaining Israel's qualitative military edge. Saudi Arabia made a direct appeal earlier this year to President Trump and has long been interested in Lockheed Martin's. The Pentagon is now weighing a potential sale of 48 of the advanced aircraft. The size of the request and its status have not been previously reported.
A Newsday returns in a moment. Stay with us.
Are you struggling with a health challenge? Do you need financial help to access treatment?
I'm tired of trying. I need help. I want to try again. I know it's expensive.
Apply now for MHSS, the Maternal Health Service Support, a discounted loan by the W initiative of Access Bank. For more information, visit our website on www.thewcommunity.com or any Access Bank branch nationwide. You can also send an email to wcares@accessbankplc.com. Terms and conditions apply.
The only way to win this fight is for one of you to bring home a husband. Who do you think? Therefore, just like you. Show me who will take over as Ozusi and Oisi of India and whether you join me to live with. You
does not require great sacrifices. The price has changed.
Welcome to Nights Out Steppers Showdown.
The competing for the Niger Steppers Showdown.
Gbogbo tí Abọ́bakú bá fẹ́ ní gbogbo olùgbọ́dọ̀ bá fẹ́. Abọ́bakú gba ilẹ̀ bàbá yìí. Èmi àkùnrin sọpẹ́rọ́ ní kàdájẹ́ èmi ọ̀sán ní bẹ̀rẹ̀ nígbà ẹ̀rù jẹ̀ ní ẹlẹ́sẹ̀ kejì òrìṣà.
Mgbe nsogbu adịrọ, oge erugo mgbe m na-agwa ndị a na na-abụrụ egwu achọtara n'aka ụda agwa.
Sabon tauraron Arewa ya dawo mafi girma mafi ƙarfi kuma mafi ɗaukar hankali. Rabin makawai ATM ne for driving slow. Zan wuce kushewa zango na biyu. Waƙa ce, sha'awa ce, tafiya ta ci gaba.
When the trust of a nation is tested, when questions echo louder than victory songs, one gathering dares to face the truth and rewrites the story of Nigerian sports. This November, the biggest convergence of sports administrators, journalists, visuals, and reformers will unite under one roof to turn passion into policy and controversy into change. With Shebi Biko, Nicola Lockley, Amaju King, Abadi Jericho, Abatule Razifashina Esele, the nation's most powerful voices in sports reform, chanting a new blueprint for progress, prosperity, power, policy, purpose. November 21st, Lagos becomes the heartbeat of a new sporting revolution.
Welcome back to Newsday. Thank you for staying with us. At least 4 farmers have been killed, while several others remain missing following a fresh attack by suspected armed herders in Amule community, Oglewu district of the local government area of Benue State. The attacks reportedly took place on Monday and Tuesday while the victims were working on their farms. Residents told Arise News that 2 farmers were killed on Monday and Tuesday. Some villagers are still reported missing as the attackers continue to move freely, spreading fear across the community. The chairman of Olmini LGA, Adola Gabriel, confirmed the incident, saying the attack has been reported to the state government and security agencies. Efforts to confirm the incident with the Benue State Police Command were unsuccessful as the police public relations officer did not respond to calls or messages.
Germany's new Consul General in Lagos, Daniel Krul, has pledged a deeper cooperation between Europe's largest economy and Nigerian trade, culture, and the creative industries. His first press conference since assuming office in August, Krul told journalists the consulate aims to strengthen bilateral ties through people-to-people exchange and shared innovation. It revealed plans to expand visa services by doubling processing counters and introducing external service providers to ease access. Consul General also highlighted Germany's growing interest in Nigeria's creative and film sectors, adding that a visiting German film industry delegation is exploring opportunities for co-production, training, and cultural partnerships.
We are currently expanding our office capacity, so we will double the number of counters, visa counters. We hope to be able to speed up processing of applications. Second big focus, of course, of this consulate is on fostering economic relations. Nigeria is the biggest trading partner in West Africa. I feel that I come well prepared to the epicenter, economic epicenter of Nigeria here in Lagos. In Germany, we have many African film festivals. This weekend was the latest in Berlin. Previously, there is the traditional African Film Festival in Frankfurt with the Golden Award. There is important with a big long tradition in Cologne and in my hometown Hamburg as well. So you can see that African film is big on the agenda, and Nigerian filmmakers are always part of these festivals. They play an important role.
It's actually one of the first times that we are having this kind of market entry program in the area of film. So we'll be able to answer more after the video. And when they arrived, we went to the active opening ceremony, which was also quite interesting for them to see. And today is basically the beginning of the whole networking session. So we believe that a lot will come out from this, and that's what we're waiting to see now.
If it comes to content production, content promotion, I think that very few movie industry rivals in Nigeria. All right. So what has become imperative for us to figure out is movie distribution. It is distribution of movie titles in a manner that ensures that producers get their revenue right from the movies that they make. Right now, if you produce a movie and take it to the theaters in Nigeria, every producer will typically get between 30 and 37 to 40%, right, of the revenue from the box office. But that, a lot of times, will not even cover production costs. So now it's important for us to figure out how to further distribute via streaming platforms, out of home advertising, merchandising, different sources of revenue making. And this is what will happen if Nigeria can collaborate with Germany. What we're doing here is really giving people an option to eat healthier, but not missing on the taste. So what Veggie Victory is about is we have developed a meat substitute, so it tastes like meat. You can see it. We make suya with it. We make stews, but it's not from animal meat. We're happy that we can showcase it today at today's event with the creative industry, film industry, because it's a new thing, and creative people are always the first to embrace something.
Created a statewide internet broadband and data center project aimed at improving digital connectivity and economic growth across the state. The initiative launched in partnership with the WIOCC Group and facilitated by the General Overseer of Omega Power Ministries, Apostle Chibuzo Chinye, marks a major milestone for the technology sector in Umuahia and Iat. Speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony, Governor Oti said the fiber optic network will provide high-speed broadband access, linking Abia to neighboring states and boosting digital inclusion across the southeast and south-south regions. He noted that the project, when completed, will position Abia State as a leading hub for innovation and telecommunications in Nigeria.
The flag off of the top infrastructure development project has been set up to highlight our commitment to the development of the state's technology infrastructure outright. The overarching objective is to run an interconnected underground dock system to support the deployment of reliable broadband technology, superior digital services, and expand the network of advantage for investors and new residents. The Dock Infrastructure Development Initiative will, on completion, form the base for the accelerated growth of our digital economy, providing the structural leverage for enterprise innovation, resource sharing, and collaboration across geographical boundaries.
We are here today for the groundbreaking ceremony. When completed, is expected to set Abia State at the peak of that economy, making it a one-stop digital telecommunication hub in Nigeria. And I'm sure, because this project is going to put direct and indirect employment.
That's not just we have the benefit of the interconnectivity of people and businesses in Abia State. We're pleased to be part of the ecosystem that will attract other investments. Our investments here are real and working in conjunction with your government to make sure that we deliver world-class, open digital infrastructure.
The Country Women Association of Nigeria President Princess Adeshola Ogunleye has been speaking on preparations by the group to hold the National Entrepreneurship Summit and Exhibition between November 18th to 20th this year in Lagos. Addressing a press conference in Lagos, she said the summit and exhibition are a celebration of Nigerian enterprise, particularly the creativity and resilience of the nation's women and youth. According to her, the event, which has Momo PSB as the title sponsor, is to demonstrate that digital innovation and entrepreneurship are the twin pillars for building inclusive prosperity in Nigeria.
We are also excited because we have a lot of beautiful digital financial services, to ease the burden of financial inclusion. For example, one of the beautiful things we are bringing on board in partnering with COA is today we offer different services from the agency business to merchant business and of course consumer business. For as many that are ready to register that we will be bringing on board as SMEs, they will have the capacity to sell airtime, to sell data, and they get 3.5% commission instantly.
This summit is aimed at creating a national platform for entrepreneurs to showcase products and ideas. These entrepreneurs across the rural areas have products that people are not seeing. They have great products that nobody is seeing. This conference is aiming at bringing those products to life. The conference aims at facilitating access to finance, markets, and partnerships for these rural women. It aims at strengthening dialogue between entrepreneurs, investors, and policymakers.
The grand finale is about meeting our local and international partners to discuss the way forward for 2026. These women need it. We also look forward to see an investors. So we are bringing financial institutions, a private partners, a government, and all agencies that are interested in working with rural women to have a roundtable discussion on moving forward for 2026.
News Day continues shortly. Stay tuned.
Imagine your wallet can be everything. Well, almost everything your bank is to you. That's exactly what First Money Wallet is. First Money Wallet from First Bank is another sweet and seamless way to bank from your mobile phone. It doesn't matter if you have a First Bank account or not the mobile network you use. Everyone can open a First Money Wallet, and it's very easy. Your phone number is your account number. With First Money Wallet, you can send money using just a phone number, receive money, pay bills, buy airtime and data for yourself or someone else, and check balance. You don't need a bank account at all or BVN to enjoy the boundless possibilities First Money Wallet offers. All you need is a registered phone number, and you can fund your wallet easily through your First Bank account or any bank account and debit card. What's more, First Money Wallet is highly secure with fingerprint technology and PIN. And when you need cash, just walk up to any First Money agent near you to withdraw money. No smartphone, no wahala. Just dial *894*1# on any phone. So it doesn't matter if you live in the city or the remotest part of the country. With First Money Wallet, your transactions are easy, seamless, and secure. Download the First Money Wallet app now. Input your phone number and follow the prompts, or simply dial *894*1#. All money now on First Money. You first, First Bank.
Every citizen has the right to vote, to be seen, to be heard. But too often, persons with disability are left out. That's why we created the TAF Disability Hub app, a digital bridge to inclusion.
its Step-I future gives every Nigerian the power to watch, report, and protect democracy.
Getting started is easy. Step 1, download the TAP Disability Hub app. Step 2, sign up with your phone number or your email. Step 3, tap the Third Eye Eyewitness report. Write what you saw, upload a photo or video, and submit. Your report goes directly to our monitoring team, ensuring that no person with disability is denied access, dignity, or the right to vote.
Together we can build a democracy where no voice is ignored.
And it all begins with you downloading the app and using the Third Eye feature.
We're calling on 10,000 Nigerians and friends of democracy to take this step. Join us.
This initiative is funded by the European Union through its support to democratic governance in Nigeria, EU SDGN 2 program.
Welcome back to Newsday. Thank you for staying with us. The ongoing firestorm provoked by U.S. President Donald Trump, who hinted this past week about taking military action against terrorists killing Christians in Nigeria, has deepened already existing fault lines among Nigerians, most of it tribal and religious in nature. Most reactions have been welcoming to Mr. Trump's sentiments, while on the other side, there are Nigerians who say the nation's sovereignty should stand non-negotiable, no matter the circumstance. But there's a third school of thought who are saying that the only political elite are worried because of what they stand to lose in the event of any foreign interference. For how to build a national consensus towards confronting a possible external aggression, we're now being joined by Dr. Sam Ahmadi, Director of Abuja School of Social and Political Thought. Good afternoon, Dr. Ahmadi. Many thanks for joining us on this day.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Of course. Now, Nigeria faces internal insecurity, whether you call it banditry, terrorism, or kidnapping. Should the focus be on building consensus on domestic threats as opposed to worrying about external aggression?
Well, I think you can, like they say, can still chew gum and walk and find their way home. You can do both. I mean, I think that perhaps we are also exaggerating Mr. Trump's message. Clearly, the message is twofold. First, a claim by him of genocide in Nigeria, and also an appeal to the Nigerian government to do something about terrorists killing Christians and now Muslims, or risk the U.S. doing it. So I think there's this notion of war against Nigeria. I don't think that's in the U.S. foreign policy objective or interest. So, but yes, killing terrorists would mean coming to Nigeria airspace to either do drone strike or all kinds of other forms of strikes, maybe with some kind of ammunition. So primarily, this is not about fighting Nigeria. And Nigeria should be concerned as to who invades territorial integrity and why. But the more, I think the greater challenge is actually domestic here. Whether it's domestic terrorists, domestic division in terms of being polarized, and again, you can see that should surface quickly. If you go to Mr. Trump's handle, even Nigerians hailing him But of course, the Nigerians who are saying, don't do this, or who are angry with him, abusing him, someone say, oh, we're ready, you're going to die in Nigeria. That's unnecessary, hysteria. The key issue is threefold. One, how do we develop state capacity to effectively deal with terror in our territory? See, Nigeria's sovereignty, or every country's sovereignty, rests on three things: effectiveness, legitimacy, and patriotism as a form of good communication. I need effective state, a state that cannot even protect its citizens, can't protect its border, a state whose public officials are fifth colonists working with terror groups or supporting them. I mean, we have somebody that's highly established as Danjuma, castigating Nigerian army. We've seen in the days of Jonathan, some high-placed cabinet officials doubting the commitment of fellow cabinet members, seeing them as those who are giving intel to terrorists. We've seen also some army commanders complain about fellow combatants calling against them on behalf of terror. So we need to begin to now restructure the country to develop that level of effectiveness arises from when a state is beyond its sectarian interests. So the Nigerian state, autonomous, not controlled, not at the behest of ethnic, religious interests. And that's what sociologists and political scientists talk about, strong and weak states. It's not just about states that have arms, but states that are uniform, cohesive, and where the national interest is such that it's not the interest of a sect or a part of the whole. I think that's the bigger challenge for this country. And the second one, of course, is we need to have a government that also understands how to speak to its citizens, how to build up what we call, what I said, we want to talk about argumentative India. A country that's argumentative, that can actually argue and change the beliefs of these citizens, that can change the citizens, orient them towards positivity. You don't do that with British states, policing, with DSS, with not dealing with a crisis effectively, with not being a rule of law state, with giving some people a pass to hurt others, with distributing like this unfairly. So there's a work to be done here to create the level of legitimacy that now supports claim of sovereignty. And thirdly, the government putting forward its best fit, looking at its first materials to put on public diplomacy. Public diplomacy is not just about ambassadors, it's also about public spokespersons, the quality of communication coming from those who represent government. And we've seen, apart from disarray and cacophony of teams and narratives that are, competing each other, we've also seen weakness at the level of, having controlled narratives and pushing official positions that are dignified, realistic, and intelligible in this country.
Indeed, Dr. Mahdi, of course, you've highlighted the issue of sovereignty and, of course, some of its shortcomings within the Nigerian perspective. But would it have been easier to invite the U.S. on joint military exercises to realize your Islamic insurgency once and for all? Wouldn't that be a win-win for both countries, you think?
Absolutely. I would actually think that maybe the response from the president is going to be twofold. Say, first, as Mr. Trump, actually, this is beyond Christian Muslim. This is also a big crisis we're in. I really would like the U.S. to help us deal with these criminals. So that would have been, or this time, that's the right thing to do. Because essentially, the message, if you're sitting back in Washington and watching Nigerian messaging, it's like they're making a case for Boko Haram, or the terrorists, whoever they are, or the alleged Fulani bandits killing people. It's like the state is saying, leave our terrorists, leave our terrorists. No, that's not the point. The point should have been that, look, either we claim that we have the capacity, and we see that capacity in a matter of days, or we say, this is why we have international cooperation. This is why we have, bilateral and multilateral, agreement. So the U.S. cannot come and help us. Apart from saying, send us out, send us money. Because what we have seen actually from those guys, oftentimes these people get in the hands of the wrong people and get back to the different hand and get up to terrorists who is against the United States. So people are cynical about, give us people. Maybe the right thing is come and help us. Send in the Marines, send in your people, use your drone and get these people and get them out. So that will be welcomed by Nigeria. This is the country now inviting a more strategic partnership with Americans to say, we of course identify these guys as our enemies. We are not condoning, we are not supporting. So when in case of whether they are Islamic or whether they are Christians, we identify this group as a common enemy. And then we welcome joint operations, sharing. And then that will signal, because the problem always has been the weakness of the Nigerian state. I mean, when you are rehabilitating terrorists on the flimsy skills that they are repentant, and some of them are going back doing more harm, and some of them are putting into ransom with weaponry, coming to meetings and sitting with you and saying, why would we run back that we didn't deliver on commitment? You are taking pictures and you are begging the federal government to allow these people to set free. So you can't convince the Americans that you're not condoning or part of that. Communication. He said, look, we really have no business whatsoever. This terrorists, we hate them, we want to get them rid of them. And then to the international stakeholders, the US, everybody, that look, clearly, our focus is clear on this one. And we are willing to be supported. Because it's not just about, being terrorists who are dangerous for everybody. Also,
now because of say I don't say we don't meet.
It's really beyond just appeasing America and the global war on terror. It's about saving ourselves and creating prospects of economic development for this country.
Dr. Samamadi, we'd like to appreciate you for your time and analysis as always, especially that point you raised about the efficiency or lack of it when it comes to the rehabilitation process. Thank you so much for joining us here. What you can do about more still ahead. Stay with us.
Grace.
We gather tonight to celebrate the 2025 icon.
Being an icon is about service. It's about resilience and an easy space for others to rise. I accept this award not just for myself, but for every single African and diasporic creator daring to dream big.
Why you look like that? Why you talk like that?
Maybe that she
All I'm on maybe that thing she do. No wonder she dey tell me to make it. But if I tell me that she don't do her own. If you know one, you see why I let them make fresh one. She for tell me that she don't do. So you understand? They hide that. For tell me that say, hey, I don't do this to you. As a true friend, the way she dey play. See, I don't do this thing. I mean, I don't do witch now. I mean, go come go block her from me. I get it. You hide. I think this is last week when I come back. I think you ask her about style when I went upstairs. Yeah, maybe you will see best. I don't know travel. They gonna. I expect them to do that. I'm there. What do you do? I'm on voice message. I'm like, that no. Yes, they go to voice message. On it today.
So, right, both angry.
No atom of behavior of and if you don't
generally from the
Yoruba State government policy decided to take these amenities to their doorstep so that it will boost their social and economic activities.
Wannan shine babban alfanu wutar lantarki kuma muna godiya ma gwamna mai malabuni Allah saka mishi da alkhairi da yadda ya ba da gudunmawarsa kuma ya taimaka mana.
Governor Buni is working and Yobe is moving.
Welcome back. The United Kingdom and Nigeria have taken another major step to boost trade relations with the launch of the UK-Nigeria Economic Diversification Working Group Dialogue. According to a British Deputy High Commission, the dialogue seeks to build on the momentum of the recent developing countries trading scheme roadshow held in Kano and Lagos. Organized under the UK-Nigeria Fast Trade and Investment Partnership, the dialogue brought together senior officials, trade experts and business leaders from both countries. Discussions focused on developing Nigeria's non-oil sectors, particularly agriculture, manufacturing and digital services. And of course, Vice Chairperson, British Nigeria Law Forum, Genevieve Wakely-Jones, joins us now to discuss how to leverage growth into sustainable partnership with trade between both countries, peaking at $7.9 billion. It's good to have you with us, Genevieve.
Hello.
All right, so the UK-Nigeria trade relationship, which has reached a record of £7.9 billion under the new partnership, from your perspective, what's driving this growth and what legal or regulatory shifts are helping to make it possible, you think?
Firstly, I will say this is a really positive outcome. I think this, what you can see is the benefits of deliberate reform on both sides, enhanced regulatory regimes in Nigeria and also the UK's developing countries trading scheme, which provides more access to the UK markets. And I think we can't underestimate the power of improved investor confidence, which is driven by clearer governance frameworks and regulatory regimes. So law is now not being seen as a barrier, but in fact an enabler for trade.
Well said. Now, what institutional or legal reforms are crucial, especially at this time, to sustain the growth and make trade more inclusive?
I would say probably deepening the structures that help drive growth. So, for instance, greater efficiencies in contract enforcement and in regulatory alignment of policies between both countries. Also strengthening our arbitral institutions and mediation frameworks, I think, will help sustain this growth. I think we need to get into a position where we're designing more with predictability and accessibility so that we can create shared opportunities and prosperity between both nations.
Indeed, how do you see legal frameworks from contract enforcement, dispute resolution, shaping investor confidence, you think?
Well, I think the key thing is investors want to be certain and sure of their rights. They want to know that when they sign an agreement, a contract, their rights are respected, and also in the event of a dispute, they have avenues to settle those disputes impartially. So I think, back to the previous point, strengthening these arbitral frameworks, mediation frameworks, will definitely improve investor confidence and their trust in coming to our country to invest.
What practical steps can leaders take to navigate cross-border compliance challenges?
I think I would always say dialogue early. So early dialogue, early alignment. And we often see compliance and regulation, although well-intended to business leaders and investors, they also seen as fragmented. So I think involving these legal compliance regulatory professionals early on and co-creating these compliance standards, rules, etc., will help reduce that friction.
Indeed, dialogue is key. So how is BNLF strengthening professional networks across both jurisdictions?
So I don't know, as some of your viewers may or may not know, we have been in existence for nearly 25 years. And our vision really has always been to bring bridge local business ties, the gaps across Nigeria and UK to create commercial opportunities and also increase capacity building. So one of the practical steps that we have been taking over the years, and actually which we formalized this year at a summit we had in Lagos, was entering into a joint partnership with the Nigerian Bar Association sections of legal practice and business to help increase capacity building, equip our lawyers for the future, and also to create a space where business leaders, lawyers, regulators can come together and discuss collaborate on policies and innovation. So I think it's strengthening those partnerships with the NBA and sister organizations.
Well, Genevieve Wakely-Jones, we'd like to thank you for all the good work that you're doing and for joining us here on this. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll take a quick break now. We'll continue in just a moment.
Welcome back. A civil society inclusive initiative has called for greater inclusion and equality in Nigeria's development. Speaking in Ado-Ekiti at the Ekiti State Capital, IPDR leader Margaret Fabio highlighted challenges faced by women, including persons with disabilities, in accessing education, healthcare, and jobs. She said the initiative aims to address socioeconomic disparities and the representation in governance, appeal to government, development, partners, and the media to support collective efforts to ensure that no Nigeria is left behind.
Across communities, we see poverty, unemployment, and lack of access to quality healthcare and education. We see marginalized voices, particularly women, young people, and persons with disabilities, struggling to be heard and represented in decision-making spaces. But in the midst of these challenges lies an incredible opportunity for transformative change, driven by the growing demand among Nigerians for transparency, accountability, and inclusion. IPADES is poised to make a lasting impact on Nigerian journey towards a brighter future. And those society where every individual, regardless of gender, background, or status, has equal opportunity to thrive and contribute to its sustainable development. If you look how organizations like IPADES that seek for inclusivity, that seek for gender equality in the land, and we might as well continue to deny ourselves the potential
and that's the truth.
They continue after the break with Timmy to work on
New laws to say that.
Everybody gets rid of the school. Think that somebody has no people. Now when somebody is now revaluing. Everybody gets one specific thing. Every human being and it's different with everybody.
With presence in major financial centers across the world, with the enabling platform to facilitate seamlessly whenever, however. Best-in-class financial solutions from a superb combination of technology and touch for easy, fast, and secure banking that creates real value.
Even if we enter their house, we will say, that person will have stand up and you will raise the answer. So we call it teaching respect like they have all needs.
And 1.5 billion voices. Leke the social platform in the world, out of Africa. By the founders of Arise blending community, culture, cutting-edge AI. It's fast, culturally rooted, data-friendly, and designed to scale globally. A digital platform for youth, creators, and business. A one-stop shop to connect, share, create, and earn. It's time to end social media imperialism. Is Leke
Normally, I see girls that persuade women, most of their teams get perfume, or natural perfume. Your soup, they have everything. What you buy things come out?
Echo louder than victory songs. One gathering bears the face the truth and rewrites the story of Nigerian sports. This November, the biggest convergence of sports administrators, journalists, visionaries, and reformers will unite under one roof to turn passion into policy and collaboration into change. With the Chevy Vehicle, Olajuwon, Magic,
And therefore was suspended for the win over Liverpool. Sheffield is out 3-1 for Ghana Sheffield Balta. Yet to score in the will be the central striker. Sweden.
Yeah, I'm not before. You can't have it not spoil my whole day. Say the truth. Now my day don't stop. No reduce when you're hoping that you will pass it.
Okay.
Look at your money, it's a
Shall be given on to you.
Thank you. Yeah, you can get me.
Yes, sister.
I was also going to cut the thankfulness of this house.
I don't even know who to pick to be my husband. My sister has one.
You need to worry.
My sister wants you. So I decided that I'll try and make her happy. Marry my sister.
Inside. What do you mean for that? You kid and I want that. And you think I got people. You need of more of that. Yeah. I like another season. But you see it is more of that and have this. Okay, it is really that's good. Just wake up the one up and Après, si ça t'a coûté les mots. On a la fournaise. Because even these days, if you try to sleep on mat, you won't be comfortable. Unless you can go one of them, rather you allow just one man. No action, the money.
That reminds me, have you had it? Have you the data? Yes. Have you had the recognized by you? Have you the hunter? It is a very big lion, and it is head and the skin to react. That's fantastic. That really. I was just wondering. How the villagers would have been walking down to our house now. If I did that, I'd wait to marry. There's no need to make up the bad about it. I'm not sure. I am not sure. I was just wondering. Anyway, let your sister comment.
Padera, see the part of it.
I brought you some food.
Never see the smiling
I brought you some food.
You cook for me special.
Yes, but something small. I made it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You have to more? Yes, wow. You're very lucky.
Be my wife. You already come to Chief Hunter's wife.
Chief Hunter's wife?
Oh yes. The king has promised you.
Yes. Two of us will get married at the same time. Yes, there's me this one. My two daughters are getting married. Very soon, I'll be able to carry my own country. I have an idea. Why don't we get married on the same day? Same day. Yes.
The date for our marriage has been set. I cannot wait for you to be there.
Thank you. Glory.
Maria, you don't know how happy you have made me. You don't even know what you have done to me. I will get married to the most beautiful woman in this village.
There are a lot of beautiful women in this village.
Oh yes, I agree with you. But
See how that bother can that man.
yes, they are not.
And they say so.
When we get married, I'm going to work very hard in order to sustain you. And I will make you live like the queen that you are.
I promise to also be a good wife.
Eat your food. Eat it. You too.
I don't know why Jerry Kareka man. I could just do this girl very. This my friend for class for school. Papa that. I'm doing you in the
What are you doing now?
Platform easy right. The obnoxious laws are within Indiana. The bill currently lying low in the State House of Assembly, waiting to be assented to if they ever win again, which will never happen. It's filled with anti-people provision. Number one thing, tax, according to them, only going to do that too. Wait, salute them, wait, make you win before you go talk about that law. Property tax. Landlords will pay heavily for their properties, while tenants will be forced to surrender 10% of their rent as tax.
Don't wait for men.
Burial tax. Families will have to pay huge sums before burying their loved ones.
But I like him, money.
Marriage tax. Returning couples will pay tax before proceeding with their marriage arrangements. You never that thing they go
Even
possible.
though she's proud
Although
of her,
they be on the APC.
she knows how to make.
But I don't know how to do this.
That's because she has so many pictures, mommy. I don't have anybody. Baby, do you think she's more beautiful than you? It is just because of the way she carries herself. You are Shewa. Don't be too desperate.
Anambra ka ka iya ina ga ko na
Anambra.
Na beri ya na ku pass bi fe bebe. Nka ya bonu fondo ka no ya gbasara anyị mana ebi yo no. Anyị mere beri ya je ko government ni che mepe.
But I've been expecting you for these past few days. I didn't see you.
As you can see, I was preparing to come.
You are welcome, Olakule.
Greetings, Mom.
Olakule, you are welcome. Please, do sit down.
I hope I am not too late.
You are not late at all.
This is my classmate. The girl I.
Go and offer a water.
Person tell me say my
I want
friend.
you to get yourself the best
My
you can
friend.
in preparation for our marriage.
My friend Papa died. So I was like, I told him that I'll contact her. Yeah, go him on our basis how many years ago now? More than 2 years now. I was up. Tell me why he will not go and tell the girl that I say he don't tell me. So the girl is now expecting me to. What if I decide not to contact her again? So the girl will feel like, hey, upon say, Uche tell me. You understand? Upon say, Uche don't tell me, so I don't still contact her. Because even one day I was thinking, but she put this girl and get after all. She know they contact me again. Before we come now, but about a platform fear, which has let's contribute for her. Imagine, 80%. Others make their papa they die, they contribute for them. Come on here, you be another issue. Oh yeah. I mean, when did we start this platform? Since more than 10 years ago.
Yes, I will not have more than 500 and something parents people with their mobile money. Every 2 years.
Others with their contribution for Uche, 20,000 pledge. You could put a good look at people on. Which kind of president is that one? Now you go first or so waiting the video. Now the girl now is telling me Nasha, he said Uche is a very good person. Come boy, you I'm not going to have to know yours, but I'm not since I feel a baby had a talk. You go for him, and so many people don't lose their time.
Let us take this thing inside.
I don't know. I mean, you can't get into condition. You won't let that one of people. Then look at you, go. Oh, now this girl, Kitabo, now she be my best friend for class. that time. Just that since I'm from Abuja, now that communicate due to knowing you back or me and you close. I feel follow contribute for her because I don't even have to. The words not this month can be better. That kind of thing also with like 5,000 I will just do. You understand? Because I'm an man who will get the better. That's not that in one like yeah. Because only on the call. Obuye Karema no girls nearby this thing. And girls represent the platform.
I'm so happy for you. You are just being modest.
Yeah, when I say get I wish he told me that he told me that he told you. You know, you're not that kind of thing. When you just get point.
Yawa. Is that not beautiful? Yeah. Yawa. Something big has happened. Mama side is dead. Mama side. Mama side.
I can't remove my village. For my village farm, now they're very
Wow! You carry my picking go your village farm.
Okay.
You carry my picking go your village farm, Ayo. You carry my picking go your village farm.
I didn't tell you the truth. What you make it? Okay, you know what? You see what Chichi? You see what Chichi? Ask Mama Chichi. She know everything.
You know everything.
Yes.
But this is supposed to expire today. The Wi-Fi.
Now malaria chila.
Who could check the time? Maybe the time is gone.
I don't kill you.
Nke a na-agba nkịta nkịta already dey do nke nwa nke nkịta. I no dey even lis ten to them and contribute anything for that platform. Ya na-emedu monthly dues atụ ya bedo me. I guess this governor your care be atụ monthly due for 2026 abayebe. Ya wụ na ezigbo ego dị araka. 2026. I say no look on man no je emebere ya go je to kita maka o mere is last month gba anya mo be no je emebere. Okwe ka mbe ano iche be ase dere na mpacho ke okwa.
I'm sorry.
Yes, okay. No wonder. No wonder your case you update your monthly due. Ọ na-arụ na Nicom mana Nicom insurance